All right, so I was sitting around training my insurance agents the other day when a pest guy came up and knocked on my door to pitch me on his services. And what I'm going to do in this video is kind of give you my thoughts on how his pitch went. There's some things I like about it, things that were like really bad. And the purpose of this video is really to help you guys out there, whether you're selling insurance or another product, on how to cold approach a prospect and what things you need to be thinking of to get more positive outcomes into your prospecting efforts. My name is David Duford. I own DeFord Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents to sell final expense Medicare annuities and ACA under 65 health insurance, either face-to-face, over the phone. We recruit agents nationally. If you'd like to learn more about my opportunity, go to davidduford.com/FAQ. So again, here's the setup. I was sitting in my chair just right here, training some agents on some sales stuff when I got a doorbell ring. And of course, I'm a weirdo. I love it when salespeople approach my house because then I get to hear a working operative in the process of trying to sell and maybe learn something from it. So here's how kind of it went. And again, as we go through the process, I'm going to kind of tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. So number one, I opened the door. And again, this is a pitch that was straight cold. He's just out here cold canvassing. And he immediately said, "Hey, how you doing, man? It's pretty hot out here." In an attempt to try to build some rapport is what I would call it. And have a little bit of a micro conversation to loosen me up a little bit, which is technically always a good idea. One of the things we like to teach agents is to build rapport at the door if we're doing any kind of door knocking of our leads. We'll compliment Mildred on her beautiful garden or, how wonderful her attack Chihuahua dog is and get a little laugh out of them or something. That's important to kind of lower their expectations or risk factors of who you are and what you're going to do to them. And then he went right into a pitch. He said, "Hey, my name is so-and-so. I work with ABC Pest Company. We're here today talking to your neighbors." We actually got done talking to a few of them up the road about setting them up with pest control services. And so he went right into an introduction. He mentioned he had talked to some surrounding neighbors as kind of a validation method to show, hey, it's not just you we're after everybody here, right? There's some issues with that we'll come back to. And then he went right into what I would call a pretty much strict, a scripted, canned pitch. He started talking about how he was going to take care of some type of bug I'd never heard of. And they go through the whole yard, not just in the front. So he's describing kind of how the service would work from a feature-based standpoint, not really so much the benefits. And asked if I wanted to buy. Of course, my objection was, I've got XYZ bug service already. We're pretty happy with them. And then he acknowledged it, asked him if it was a local company, and did another pitch to try to overcome that. Again, a good objection or rebuttal. I don't know exactly what it was. It was kind of a restatement of what he already said. And I was like, "Nah, I'm pretty good, man. I appreciate your time. I'm going to head back in." And he said, "All right, have a good day. Bye." So that was kind of it. It lasted maybe a 90 seconds to 120 seconds. It wasn't a very long pitch. But he did his pitch, he did a rebuttal, he built rapport. And what I want to do now is kind of go over, again, strategically, what I thought was done right and what I thought could absolutely be improved. Because I think there's some issues here that if you're out there doing this stuff, guys, I would take some serious notes because there's some issues here that he didn't really go over well that maybe not me, but the culmination of all the prospects he called on, he could have gotten better results with. So number one, I thought his door rapport was pretty good. Knocked on the door, started talking right away. He made eye contact. He shook my hand. He smiled. Everything that seemed non-threatening, lowering the overall risk factor that prospects will have. So I felt okay. I felt like he did a really good job there. Again, you want to do this stuff. He was not right up against the door like the Shining thing. He was stepped back a little bit to give me some space to come out and talk to him. So again, a non-threatening type of demeanor. I thought it worked pretty good. He also had his shirt on to show who he was. I forgot to mention that. He made sure to express that. I think that's probably a more important thing to do on cold canvassing in residential neighborhoods. You got to have some validation, whether it's a company shirt or one of them lanyards that you wear around your neck that show your licenses or your solicitation license. You got to have some kind of stuff like that. And just to kind of point to it, it's kind of an appeal to authority. Like, yeah, we're legit. He made sure to like show me his thing on the side. Of course, it doesn't mean he actually works there. It could be a scam. But most people will take that as fact, right? Like when the cop shows you the badge, you kind of just assume it's a cop, right? So you don't need to explain yourself further. So as long as you're doing something like that, guys, that's a good thing, and he did. The intro was good. He told me who he was, who he works for, and why he was there. Again, he had mentioned some neighbors that he saw, but the problem that I saw with that is he didn't actually name names. One of the things I think that's bad is that if you're going to go out there and say, hey, I was talking to your neighbor around the corner, you got to get more specific than that. Again, maybe there's prospects who don't think that that's a big deal, and maybe I'm hypersensitive to it. I am a salesperson after all. But I think I would say, hey, I was talking to Mrs. Jones next door, specifically saying their name. She thought our product was great, and that's why I'm stopping to talk with you. If you start saying and referencing the actual names of the neighbors around you, it's going to make you a little bit more validated, and that appeal to referrals is what you're trying to do. Kind of that referral-based language is going to be more reasonable and believable if you actually name the people who you were talking to. Next on the list here, the one thing that I think was terribly executed by this pest control guy really was his inability to pre-qualify. You see, when he talked to me, his pitch was he was going to get rid of the some kind of bugs, right? I never knew I know what bugs are, but the name of the bugs he gave me, I didn't know. And he started talking about things that frankly, I didn't care about. If he had asked me some questions like, so what kind of bug issues you're dealing with right now? Again, assuming that I was having bug issues, that I would follow up and say, yeah, the cockroaches are crazy or the rats are running wild. I don't know. But if he had asked and assumed, with an assumptive question. So I'm here to help people out with pest control services. What kind of pest control issues you're having that you're not getting help with? If I had issues, I might go right into something like I exemplified earlier. And then what's the benefit of that, you may ask? Well, now you know what their problems are. And again, you can sell the problem and the solution to the problem a lot easier than just randomly picking something that had no relevance whatsoever. So I think as a pest control guy, or whatever it is that you're selling and you're trying to get in the door to close, guys, you can't just go in there cold with a pitch that has no relevance to the actual situation the prospect is in. So ask and develop some pre-qualifying questions. Again, the more assumptive they are in the nature, the better. So what kind of pest control problems are you dealing with you're not getting help with? Or what kind of pest control issues are driving you mad lately? You're going to get some people start talking about what pisses them off. And if you can see what those are and uncover them, well, then it's a lot easier to sell, well, that's exactly why I'm here today, because that's what we specialize in. And then you can give them a sales pitch that's custom tailored to what their actual problems are. Doesn't that sound like a better way to sell than just hoping that the pitch you give them applies? The next thing on the list here is know the proper terminology. Again, I get a lot of these pest control guys, probably true of the alarm business, from another part of the country. They don't understand the locality and the language and the concerns. Again, this is just the regional differences. He was talking about like water bugs or something. I don't know what that is. And, but it was called something different in Florida than it is up here. And I caught on right away. I was like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what my issues are. And it kind of relates to really the pre-qualifying issue. You didn't pre-qualify well, and so you're making shit up. And, bottom line, it's like I'm not going to buy from somebody that doesn't understand my problems. Well, why would I waste my time or money for somebody who doesn't even understand what it is? And again, many times, if you let people talk and express the words that are coming out of their mouth to describe their problems, what you want to do as a salesperson, pro tip, is use their language, right? We have people in the insurance business that use language differently than how the insurance companies describe the product. They may talk about rate locks, right? Well, as far as price being guaranteed. So I might say that the price is guaranteed, rate locked for the rest of your life. So I want to use the terminology the prospect's using, not the kind of terminology that we think is right or wrong. So, and the last thing here, the best thing I would suggest here to go along with this is you got to craft a powerful offer. Again, tied to what it is that they mentioned as pre-qualifying. So again, a powerful offer is going to be, again, first foundationally based off of figuring out what the problem is of the prospect. If you can identify the problem, then your offer and your close will reflect how the problem's big and how your offer is the way to solve for that problem. And then you need to tie in some other stuff to the problem or to the solution in order for the client to actually take action today, because you may get a logical acknowledgement of the problem, but they don't have the emotional urgency right now to buy. So things that help with an offer are things like bonuses. Like, can you give them a free month's worth of service or some extra service or something else to inspire them to take action today? So if you're selling any kind of product, like, what can you give them for free that will help them to take action? Number two, put a deadline on it. Maybe say, hey, look, we're giving this away. We're really trying to meet our month-end quota. We'd really like you to buy today. So what I'm going to do is actually take off the first month's free if you take action today. So again, if you put a deadline on it and you tie it to something that sounds reasonable, that's going to inspire people who are on the precipice of making that decision today to take action. So guys, that was my experience. Again, I love getting cold calls because I learned so much from it, and it's helpful to see outside of the insurance business how other people sell. And this is really true of any industry, guys. What I've talked about today, it doesn't matter if it's pest control or anything else. You have to sell in this kind of way. Again, the big takeaways I would tell this sales rep, first of all, I'm glad he's got the guts to approach me. Second of all, you got to pre-qualify more and listen to what the problems of the clients are. And then thirdly, close with a relevant close that matches what the client's needs are. If you can do all that, guys, you're going to find success cold calling, whether it's residential or business owners, and you're going to help a lot of people. And if you can do that, you'll have success, because most agents, most salespeople don't do this stuff. So that's my thoughts. And again, if you want to learn more about joining my agency, simply head on over to daviddufour.com/FAQ. And thanks for watching.